안녕하세요 여러분, 잘 지내셨죠? Welcome to the land of Korean cinema. So far I've been pretty impressed by this year's Korean movies, and I was especially interested in today's movie because of Seo Ye-ji. I was amazed by her performance in It's Okay to Not Be Okay. I thought she was fantastic. The last movie I saw was Warning Do Not Play, which didn't really work for me, so I had high hopes for Recalled or Neire Kyak. It means Tomorrow's Memory, and this is the kind of rare case where I think both the English and the Korean title is perfectly fitting. So the movie stars Seo Ye-ji, of course, and Kim Kang-woo, and it's a mystery thriller. The movie has a pretty creative opening sequence, after which Seo Ye-ji wakes up at the hospital after an accident. She has amnesia, but thankfully her husband is by her side and is taking good care of her at home. But then Seo Ye-ji starts to have visions of future events, of possible murders or people getting hurt. And if that wasn't enough, her past also seems to have some secrets that are pretty unpleasant. Recalled is a perfect example of a movie that has, or it seems to have, a limited budget, but the filmmakers were able to make the most out of their limitations. Recalled only has a few characters, very few locations, but it has a very well written script and it's very well directed. This might be director Seo Min-'s first movie. I think it is. And it's pretty impressive. The story is written and told in such a way that the audience only knows as much as the main character does, which is not a lot. And since everything is getting weirder and weirder, the movie keeps making us ask questions, so it's really easy to keep our interest in the movie. The movie is also able to build some really good tension at times. It's interesting though, this is a pretty quiet movie. Even the intense scenes make good use of silence, which I thought was very well done. In fact, those scenes wouldn't have been half as effective had they done it in any other way. This movie is quietly intense. How cool is that? Add to that the general feeling of confusion, and you've got a pretty good mystery thriller. The main character is just as confused as we are, and things really don't get much clearer for a long time, especially because Seo Ye-ji has to take pills after her accident, so whether she's hallucinating or not is highly debatable. There are several points in the movie where it's really hard to tell the difference between reality and imagination, and I think it's time to praise Seo Ye-ji a bit. Yeah, she was awesome. Thank you, bye. But seriously, she was great. She starts out as a blank slate, she has no idea who she is, who her husband is, nothing. And as she starts to learn some tiny pieces about herself and as she starts to see some things, she gets more and more broken. I mean, imagine having amnesia and then everything that you learn about yourself and your surroundings is terrible. And you have no idea what to make of it. I was so happy to see a movie where she was able to show her dramatic side. That was one of the reasons I loved her in It's Okay to Not Be Okay. And here she's just getting better and better because as the movie goes along, she gets more and more layers to her character. It was actually pretty fantastic. My only real problem was that because the movie was so quiet and subtle, I did not enjoy every scene equally. And because of that, I wanted to rate this movie at about 80 or 82%. I thought it was really well done, but slightly uninteresting here and there. And then the ending happened. I won't spoil the movie for you, but there are two things I appreciate about the ending. One is that after we learn everything and you look back on the storytelling, you realize that the movie was able to pull off something really awesome. It has something to do with time, which is pretty obvious since Seo Ye-ji apparently sees future events, so there you go, that's all I can say. But the second reason is even better. This movie is basically about love. Not necessarily romantic love, it's more like love in general. Everything that happens in this movie is basically because of love. The ending is beautiful and tragic at the same time, and it's a lot deeper than you might think. And everything makes perfect sense. And the great thing is that after you learn everything and you look back on the movie, it actually makes the whole movie better. And because of that, I'm gonna give Recalled 90%. There are still some parts where I wasn't that engaged, but the third act makes so many previous scenes better and worth it. And Seo Ye-ji is awesome. If you like thrillers, go for it. If you love Seo Ye-ji, then you've probably already seen this one. What did you think about it? 여러분, 오늘은 여기까지만 해요. 영상 봐주셔서 감사합니다. 이 영상 좋아하면 구독해주세요. See you very soon. 다음 시간에 만나요, 여러분. 안녕히 계세요.